Joining us now to talk more about this and what this means for everyday Americans is Florida Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Greg Steube. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming back on with us. This is now, they've got a majority in the House, so this could become a reality. We'll see what happens in the Senate, but we've got a serious crisis on our southern border. We're still dealing with a pandemic. Countries like Russia and China are building up for a possible war. Why are Democrats so focused on this right now?
Well, they know the only way that they can get their unconstitutional agenda items through, like executive orders on immigration for Biden, taking our guns away either through executive order or through bills, or their H.R. 1, which would completely transform elections in our country and is completely unconstitutional. The only way to do that is to change the U.S. Supreme Court, because they know that the current makeup, being conservative, is not going to satisfy their needs and help them pass their radical pro-left progressive agenda. So what's the answer to that? Not elections and, not doing things that are constitutional. It's, well, let's change the makeup of the court, add 4 justices. So there's a 7-6 liberal majority on the court and give Biden 4 appointments.
All right, so we haven't seen a shift. There have been 6 shifts in the number of seats on the Supreme Court throughout the 240-plus year American history. It hasn't happened. We've had 9 since 1869, which is a long time. But there is no spot in the Constitution where it says it's got to be 9. They don't set the number. So if this does get through the House, do you think it's got a chance in the Senate?
Well, if it gets through the House, mind you, again, Pelosi only has a 2-vote majority in the House floor. So all of these moderate so-called progressive Democrats, all of them are going to have to vote for this. If she loses 2 votes, she can't pass it on the House. When it gets to the Senate, if the filibuster is still intact, they have to get 60 votes, and I feel confident there's no way that 10 Republicans are going to vote to pack the court. So I think we're safe there as long as the filibuster is in place. Alike all this other bad policy we're seeing, as long as the filibuster is in place in the Senate, we should be good. But the moment that filibuster is gone, look out, America, for the changes that are coming to our country.
Yeah, and hopefully the filibuster remains. That's a whole nother topic, which is fascinating. I want to play you a soundbite. 1983, Joe Biden. He was a senator at the time, and I'll let you judge by this soundbite, but it didn't seem like he was a big fan of shifting the number of justices on the high court. Take a listen.
It was a bonehead idea. It was a terrible, terrible mistake to make, and it put in question, for an entire decade, the independence of the most significant body, including the Congress, in my view, the most significant body in this country, the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
All right, so he was referring to FDR's plan in the 30s to try and pack the court, and that's where that term originated. But what happened to Joe Biden? 1983, he thought it was ridiculous, laughable almost. You hear him, it's a much different Joe Biden there. But all of a sudden right now, he's completely in favor of doing this.
Yeah, it was a bonehead idea. It's still a bonehead idea, and he described exactly what he's doing and the liberal Democrats in the House are attempting to do. This was just talk, and suddenly we have a bill that's going to come out today that's going to do this, that would fundamentally change the makeup of the United States, because all of these horrible bills, like I said, most of them, in my view, are completely unconstitutional. The executive orders he's trying to do on illegal immigration, that Florida and other states like that have filed lawsuits, they know that they'll likely lose in the U.S. Supreme Court. So why not change the makeup of that court before those cases get there, so they can rubber stamp the liberal progressive unconstitutional bills and executive orders they're trying to pass?
All right, so 1994, Justice Stephen Breyer, appointed by Bill Clinton, by the way, he said that efforts to restructure the court hurt the court's reputation as an apolitical body. That's a quote. That comes from somebody who definitely leaned to the left. Isn't the whole point of the Supreme Court to be something that is sort of above the current politics in the nation?
Ginsburg herself said that it shouldn't be changed from 9 and that 9 was a good number. Liberal justices have said that 9 is a good number and it shouldn't be changed. And if you're trying to politicize the court, that's exactly opposite of what the framers intended. Just like you said, the Supreme Court is supposed to be nonpartisan. They're supposed to look at this fairly. They're supposed to look at cases based on the law and based on our Constitution, and not let's fill 4 people that are liberal progressives that are going to do what liberal progressives want us to do and just rubber stamp it. That's not what the U.S. Supreme Court is supposed to be. There's supposed to be some sanctity and nonpartisanship as it relates to the court process, especially at the highest court.
I want to show, we just had the picture of the 9 current justices up there, but let's be honest, the Democrats are just mad that Donald Trump was so darn effective at getting justices appointed. It started with Neil Gorsuch, then we saw the Brett Kavanaugh debacle, and then Amy Coney Barrett in the fall. So now there's a 6-3 conservative majority. 18-year term limits, that's also a possibility out there. We've got about 10 seconds left, but are you for or against term limits on Supreme Court justices?
Well, we have an age limit here in the state of Florida that's worked pretty well. It's age 75. So they can't be on there past age 75, which has worked for Florida well. That would be something that certainly would be willing to look at. But again, the Supreme Court process has been in place, just like you said, since the late 1800s. Why now all of a sudden are we going to change it? If the majority of the court was liberal or Democrat, you wouldn't hear any of these conversations happening from the White House or from Congress.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous to even propose something like this. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was 87, by the way, when she passed away. Congressman Greg Steube, so good to see you again. Thank you for coming on with us. Keep us posted.
Thanks for having me.